Hey, what's happening? Well, this is my second time making the video. The first one got lost, so hopefully this one was better than that one. So what you're looking at is a roller test stand setup that I just got off of eBay. It is made in Sweden, and it is MBW, and I don't even know how to pronounce the rest of it, but I saw this, and because I was looking for a roller test stand, I thought about building one. But when you start adding up the pieces, it'll still cost you $80 to $100 in pieces, just in bearings and buying all the fasteners and everything else. Whereas you can buy pre-done ones. The Marklin one is probably about $150. And it's nowhere near as big as this one is. This one I bought off of eBay, like I said. It was $170, which I think is a pretty good deal for the amount of stands that you get out of it. It came as a standard gauge HO, and there's two types of trucks or roller stands. So the first one, there is an actual ball bearings, and then they just mount on here, and it's got a plastic separator that insulates the two sides. And then there's also the dummy ones, which these are for if you have a locomotive with a tender, if you've got like a trailing or a leading truck or a trailing truck, it will work really well for that. But also, I do standard gauge, and I also do narrow gauge, and nobody really makes one for narrow gauge. There was a company that made one that was adjustable, but they've been out of business for a while. It starts with a B. It's like Barakaris or something to that effect. So I looked at this one and just kind of thought, well, I could probably modify it to work with HOn3. And this is what I was able to do. So you can see what the standard one looks like. And then the one I modified here is on the left. So I just flipped the rollers from the outside to the inside. And then the dummy ones have these plastic spacers that I put in. But the actual ones, I used washers in the place, as you can see down in there. And so far it's been working good. I've been working on this kind of off and on all day. I actually built this stand. So this is the oak bottom, and then there's the top. And then what this does is it latches down on top. And then I've got this piece of 550, and that will actually go down the center of the rollers, so when you carry it around, they don't all keep flopping around. I just wanted something nice to protect it because most of my stuff is out in the garage, and I got to store it places, and something like this, I mean, these would just get damaged or lost or destroyed, and same with these rails. So it's all made out of brass. It's really nice. I think it's probably from about, the instructions were in Swedish, but the date on there, it said revision 2004. I've never heard of this company before, and it was, I believe this was from an estate sale. So, yeah, like I said, I found a catalog online for it, talking about this company, but I don't think it's really big. So part of the roller stand is designed basically so you can test your locomotive. But I'm also going to be using it so I can program my locomotives with DCC. And what I'm using for that is SPROG. And these are made in the UK. And this is the SPROG 2 version 4. So what it is it hooks to your computer via USB. This one came with its own power supply. It's a 1 amp power supply, and then you just hook the leads up to the track power, or in this case the rails for this, and then it uses JMRI as an interface. So it's its own standalone unit. You could technically, and they do say that you can use this for running a small layout. 1 amp will probably get you about 3 or 4 locomotives, maybe 1 or 2 sound ones. But they also sell a larger version that does 2.5 amp, and I think there's a 5 and a 6 amp. This one was $99. It came with everything that you need. It even came with a USB drive that had JMRI on it, so in case you didn't have access to the internet to download it. JMRI is free, and so you can download it. And I run Windows 10, and all I did was plug this thing in, turn the power on, and Windows automatically found the correct drivers for it. So there's really not a lot of hassle. With Windows 7 and 8, I can't really tell you. They do include drivers for that and instructions, and everything's on a thumb drive that you can just go ahead and transfer to your computer along with all the instructions. So JMRI, many people are probably familiar with it. This is what it looks like. It's just basically it's a graphical interface for programming DCC. So here's one locomotive, and you just double click on it, and you can bring up, instead of doing individual CVs, now you can actually click buttons and do that, or you can actually do the CVs. The main advantage to using a SPROG in a standalone is that you're able to program and read decoders. I run NCE, and I have an NCE power cab along with an SP5A, and with the NCE USB interface, and it does not allow you to fully program, so you're able to read all the CVs, but if you try and program more than 3, it resets the SP5 and goes crazy. And then the other problem too that I've had a problem with multiple times is if you look down here, so it says programming track, programming on main. So programming track is like this. It's a standalone programming track. Programming is on the main is when, say, you have your layout up and running and you want to make a couple changes. Well, if you run programming track while it's hooked to your layout, you can reprogram all your locomotives. I've done it about 5 or 6 times, and it's a real pain to go back and reset all the locomotive CVs. And that's where you'd need something like this, where you could come in and just reset them all. So basically, you could reset the decoder and then push all the CVs and all the configurations at once to the locomotive. So here is my K37 that I put a decoder in and a new motor. So I finally got it up and running. So you can see how the test stand really works. It's great for troubleshooting any issues you have. The other thing that's cool too is that because I put the Digitrax Keep Alive in here, that this will actually stay running off the layout. And it'll go for a reasonable amount of time, as you can see. Just keeps going. And this is a pretty small motor, but this is also the smaller Keep Alive. But I'll put in the description what decoder I used and the Keep Alive as well. So just wanted to show you guys what I've been up to. I also have my K27 that I had that running today. And this is just temporarily wired until I get home to fully finish it off. I just still need to put micro plugs and then do the lights. But anyways, if you guys have any questions, just go ahead and leave them in the comments. Thanks.